ask? Can you just ask? When you start, yes, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah. Date as well. To learn these things. Hang on. We've got the date. Got the date. Before we start, what's the Islamic date today? We haven't got to the night. I don't Christian date, Islamic date. You don't know Islamic dates. Who knows Islamic dates without looking at his mobile? Nobody. He's looking at his mobile. Okay, can you just anybody tell me what's the month? Don't look at your mobile. The month. No, if you know from the mobile, don't answer. What's that? You will look at the mobile. Something Jumada. Michael Jackson Jumada?
The fourth. No.
Jumada al-Akhirah. Okay. Comes from Morocco now. It should be fresh. Jumada. What date is it? If you look at the moon, this is the recent moon. You can find out. It's 22nd today. I haven't looked at mine for a while. I haven't looked. Well, I haven't looked. But if I date myself, if you fast for 3 days, you get used to it. 13th, 14th, and 15th, you'll be able to know. Fast the 3 days of the month, then you will know, I fasted this day, then the 15th, I just count from the 15th to now, then I will know. So the 3 days gives you a hint from the beginning and gives you a hint to the end as well. Khalas. Do that, believe me, you don't need to look at your mobile. Is it 22nd, brother?
Yeah.
I was worried. I had just while I'm coming here, I was just coming here about half an hour ago, my daughter had a major accident. So make dua, inshallah, in a different country. That's why I'm putting a smile, but actually I'm worried. Okay, it's a major accident. It's not a scratch, it's a total cargo. Alhamdulillah. طيب, صفة الصلاة. You got the date. Alhamdulillah. And then we are on the book of Al-Wajiz. No. Are you sure? Yeah. Make sure you document the class. Wait. Today is the 20th. Sorry. Yeah, today is the 23rd. Sorry. I made a mistake. 1439, by the way, if you don't know. In case. تفضل.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أما بعد. Today is
without salat salam. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah, because he's saying salatu wa salam twice now. Okay. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah.
Today is Yom al-Ahad, the 23rd of Yom al-Ahad.
Just Yom al-Ahad today, I think. And Jumada al-Akhirah.
Jumada al-Akhirah, the
23rd of the year 1439. Fadl.
1439.
I'm going to do this for you once, and then you do it, inshallah.
Inshallah.
3 times every time that you start the class. Go on.
The description of the prayer.
We are discussing the book of the Wajiz, because this is an introduction. Can we just eliminate all of that? Start from the beginning. You're going to delete all of that at the beginning. Stop.
Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalam. Today is Yom al-Ahad, Jumada al-Akhir, and it is the 23rd. And we are starting the description.
Year 1439.
Year 1439. And we start the book Al-Wajiz, and we are on the description of the prayer for the Janaza. There are to be 4 and 5 and even up to 9 takbirs made in the funeral prayer. Sometimes the Prophet ﷺ will do it one way, and sometimes he will do it another way.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala. And Wajiz, chapter title, Sifatul Salah. We have already discussed from the beginning of the Janaza. We talked about the beginning of the Janaza in terms of how to prepare it, how to wash it, how to make the shroud for it. And now after the preparation and after the washing and after the shrouding, I'm going to take you to the place of the Musalla of Al-Janaza. Now, you know that these days we don't have a musalla in Janaza. Most of the people have been prayed upon inside the masjid. But at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there was a musalla of the Janaza, but it is permissible to offer the prayer of Salaatul Janaza inside the masjid. Prophet ﷺ, musalla Janaza was actually, if you know the Kaaba, you know the Maqam Ibrahim, okay? There, the musalla Janaza, just next to Maqam Ibrahim. Now, Maqam Ibrahim is part of the masjid, but before, it was outside the masjid. And that is why the sa'i between Safa and Marwa, a long time ago, it was what? Detached from the masjid. Even I would say 40 years ago, it was detached. It was not part of the masjid. Now it is not just inside the masjid, even huge area behind the Safa wal Marwa is inside the masjid. It's part of the masjid. So at the moment, the fatwa of the shuyukh, that the ones who say, for example, the women who are on their menses are not allowed to enter the masjid, which is not the fatwa that the shuyukh, that we adopt their opinion that it doesn't matter for them to come to the masjid. But let's say that those scholars who say that the woman, if she's on her menses, is not allowed to come to the masjid, they say that she's allowed to come to the sa'i, Safa and Marwa. But this fatwa, it needs to be updated now, because the sa'i now is part of the what? Part of the masjid. So according to the fatwa, that should be now what? Okay, she wants to be shipped all the way so back, about a mile maybe from the Mas'ah, from the Sa'i, Safa and Marwa. Because really a lot, mashallah, so big here at the moment. Now, the prayer of the Janaza, for example, of number of people, at the time of the Prophet of Allah, even when Aisha radiallahu anha had asked for Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas to be offered, to be prayed for the wives of the Prophet to offer the prayer, so they put the Janaza inside the masjid in front of their doors, and they offered the prayer, the women, the wives of the Prophet. Some of the people started, the he-who-hi, he-who, what's wrong, this is bid'ah, it's not right, all that. So when she heard about that, Aisha, she said, why did people rush into something they have no knowledge of? For the time of the Prophet of Allah, we have offered a prayer upon somebody who died in masjid, inside the masjid. Can I just ask for you to come here, please? This is Jumu'ah, it's got 50 years plus. You can't sit in the back, it's not right. Jumu'ah is 50 years away. Your son is not 50 years away. Don't sit in the back. No, I'm sitting in the back. Yes, that's right. I would like to echo the words of our Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah. Shaykh al-Albani, he looks at the people who are at the moment, mashallah, they're making the tasfiyah, meaning the education, which is making sure that they are upon the sunnah and they are following the sunnah and keeping away from the bid'ah and trying to make sure that this is authentic and this is not authentic. Very well done. But the cultivation, the tarbiyah is not there. And if there is no tarbiyah that goes along with the tasfiyah, we're not really proceeding. We're not going, and we're not advancing. It has to be a tarbiyah. So it's not just to say, I know what is sunnah, what is bid'ah, I know how to pray the Janaza properly, but we need the cultivation. And that is why our Shaykh al-Albani, and these are the words I want to echo, those Shaykh al-Albani said, for verily I thought that what is wrong with the people these days is the aqidah. It's actually more to do with the akhlaq, with the manners. You find the person, mashallah, sahih, da'if, very well done. But in terms of akhlaq, he's zero, or minus. What is this tells us? For verily the education issue is, you could book on the sunnah and all of that, big knowledge. But in terms of tarbiyah, this is a sea that's got no beach. Massive thing, the cultivation. That is so prepared. So that's why we don't really have any problem to come here and teach and give you the right information. But what we need to do is to implement that information in our life. It's not just simply in the papers. We want to implement it. So if we just tell the people, the class, and come forward, Prophet ﷺ talked about the three people, one who came in front of gap and he just came and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had awa ilayhi, he gave him his mercy. And one, he was really shy to step over the next to the people who sat at the back, so he's shy, Allah showered. The third one, he retreated and left, Allah leaves him. So if we're not going to implement that in our classes, so every time we come to class, find a person coming there, we're not in a hookah pipe sort of, shisha pisha, sort of club here. This is a masjid, this is a circle. Shisha Fisha, yeah, he goes from the back there and from the back there, no problem. This is a class. And if I don't adhere to what the Prophet told me, I'm not going to get the barakah in the class. We were with the Shaykh al-Albani rahmatullah alayhi, closer than this. Even the Mr. Simba, he has to cut forward as well. Simba, yes, come shove in, forward. You'll feel the warmth. I don't want 1,000 people just scattered all over the place. I don't think there is any benefit out of it. I want 10 people, but they are upon the Sunnah. And that's what Shaykh ibn Baz, students. Shaykh ibn Baz students very little. But the dua, the ones who speak a lot and they are not got no knowledge, mashallah, as far as you can see. But where is their heart? They're not together. Why is it? Because as I said, the tarbiyah, cultivation. So I need to make sure that you guys, you understand that. In our Shaykh, we don't dare to sit as far as Simba. Wallah, he will tell us off. He will tell us off. We have to be together and sit together like that. That's how we benefited. Okay, that's how we benefited. But if you're going to have a big acre of your land, please don't touch my land, and this is my space, and don't penetrate my space, you're not going to get anywhere, nowhere. Believe me. Those are the words of the Prophet ﷺ. Why should I see you scattered? You're scattering from the act of shaitan. The more scattering you are, the more successful the shaitan is doing his job. So we need to make sure that this shaitan fails his job. Right. Don't worry, it took me about 20 years to fix one of the masajid, so you haven't really reached that time. So he's still within the time. Prophet ﷺ, he had taught us the prayer of the Janaza. Companions narrated for us 4 takbirat, which most of the people, I want to say 90% plus of the people who would do 4 takbirats. If you do more than that, they will say, what type of religion you came up with, Sheikh? So, we have more than 4 takbirat. And we only learn these when we have the sunnah. You go to the haram, you only stuck to 4. You have to stuck to one version of the prayer. And this is the version which the Hanbali they use. And if, for example, let's say that the overcoming rulers of the Mecca become Shafi'i, it will become different prayer. It will not be the same as this prayer. But we need to understand what is the prayer of the Prophet ﷺ. Is it one salutation all the time like this in the Haram? Is it just 4 takbir all the time? And is it only 3 takbir where you make the du'as and everything, and the last 4 takbir is just simply saying the takbir and then assalamu alaikum, which we do in the Haram? Don't know if you've been to the Haram or not, but this is the takbir in Salaatul Janaza in the Haram. It's only 3 takbirs. The 4th one, Allah Akbar, assalamu alaikum. And it's only one salam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and that's it. There's no other taslim. Is it the right way to make this salutation? First of all, as I said, the companion with authentic chain. And the best book to tackle this issue, the book of Shaykh al-Albani, is called Ahkam al-Janaiz. The book which has no replica, no similarity to that book. It's a book of its own, of its kind. Gathered everything which is regarding the Janaza. Now it says here 4 takbirs, or it says 5, and that's, if you want to add, up to 9. We do have for every number a proof, except for the 8th. So 4 takbir we have a proof. 5 takbir we have proof. 6 takbir we have proof. 7 takbir we have proof. 8 takbir we don't have a proof. But we do have what? 9. So because we have 7, and we have 9, so there must be as well 8. This is process of whatever we call it, elimination, or okay. So the 8 is because of the 7 is mentioned with authentic chain, and the 9 is mentioned, and the 8 is there. So that as well gives you. But most of the time, the Prophet of Allah will do the 4. Okay. So here is going to be, I'm going to be skipping what the brother is going to be reading. The 4, he had given a hadith, Abu Hurairah, of the Prophet ﷺ, when he gave the Janaza on the Najashi, on the day that he died. He went to the Musalla and he had lined the people behind him, companions, and he made takbirs 4 times. And Najashi, there was nobody. The body was not there. The Najashi died in Abyssinia. You could say about more than 1,000 kilometers, about 900, 800 miles away from the Prophet ﷺ. Okay, Prophet was in Medina. So more than that, more than 1,000 miles, I would say. So when he died at Najashi, he died in a land which is a Christian land. Nobody knew he's a Muslim except for whom? For the Prophet. Who told the Prophet of Allah? It's the wahy, the revelation. It's not because Najashi was so good to the Muslims at that time and he had offered them the land, the shelter. Not only that, he had also prepared Habiba, one of the wives of the Prophet, the daughter of Abu Sufyan, and he had given the dowry of hers when she was migrating from Abyssinia to Medina. Not because of all of that, no, because Allah told him that this person had embraced Islam and he hid his iman inside himself. Even though we don't know that he had prayed even a single rak'ah, even though he did not, or he was not buried in a Muslim graveyard, he was the head of the Christian country. So he had a Christian funeral procession, not a Muslim one. So the only one who knows is a prophet through the revelation. That's when we prayed upon him. The hypocrite took that opportunity and they said, look at this person, that means Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at this person offering a prayer on a kafir. They're kuffar themselves anyway, these hypocrites. Offering a prayer on the Eid, the kafir. How could he offer a prayer on the kafir? Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, very well, he said that one of your brothers had died, and that's a Najashi. And this Najashi, when he died, and Prophet Allah was told straight away, and the Prophet Allah climbed up the companion, there was no corpse. Now we cannot use this to expand and explore and pray what we call Salaatul, the prayer upon the person who is absent. Why? First of all, first reason is that this person died in the land, there was nobody to offer the prayer. That's number one. So if there was a person who's being offered a prayer, there's no need to offer another prayer. So you'd be prayed. Nobody had prayed upon it. Number two, it's impossible to offer the prayer on the corpse because we said that he's the head of that Christian country there. Big Christian country, Ethiopia, Abyssinia. So no one would dare to go there and offer a prayer, a Muslim prayer on a Christian leader. Number two. Number three, this is live link up, straight away. He died, Prophet of Allah was told. It's not like, for example, these people pray 1 day or 2 days even after. Okay, number four, which is the most strongest reason. And you can put it number one. We cannot use this to explore into the matter because we know that so many people die in different places where the Muslim did not offer a prayer on the ghaib, absent. Like for example, Prophet ﷺ, he died. Can you find anybody who is better than the Prophet of Allah, more deserved to offer a prayer like this onto him? I can't find anybody. Whether it's Sheikh Ibn Baz or Sheikh Al-Albani. Prophet ﷺ. When he died, we find that Mu'adh ibn Jabal was in Yemen. He did not offer the prayer of the Janaza on him. We have a Musa al-Ash'ari. If you want to offer the prayer, you need to come to the what? To the grave. Put the grave between the Qibla and offer prayer of the Janaza. But to pray on nobody there, like these people on their mothers or their fathers die in Pakistan, and they ask the Imam to offer their prayer for them where? In this masjid. Or in Luton, I've seen it so many times. What's the proof for that? There's no proof for this. And also, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he died. And Khalid ibn Walid radiallahu anhu is already in Iraq, in that area. I mean, Khalid Walid is the commander who's being put by whom? Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr is the first Khalifa, best man after the Prophets. So I can't find anybody deserved to be prayed upon after the Prophet than Abu Bakr. Yet none of these companions had offered prayer on the ghaib on the Abu Bakr. Companions offered the prayer on Abu Bakr in Medina, but none of those companions who were in Iraq like Khalid Walid offered a prayer on al-ghaib, because if it was made to be legal or good, then nobody would fall short to fulfill this good act. You understand that now? So we find, for example, some of those people, really great people, like Sheikh Ibn Baz, when he died and he was offered the prayer in Mecca, some people offered prayer in Medina for prayer of the ghaib. That's not right. If you want to pray upon the Sheikh Ibn Baz, you come to his grave in the Mu'allah graveyard, offer the prayer for him. Okay, but not to offer the prayer on something which is ghaib. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he came to the Shuhada Uhud. and he offered that prayer onto them again before he died, just like giving farewell to them. So he did not pray in Medina, which is not far away from the graveyard where they were died, where they died. You know, where they died where they martyred the battle of Uhud. Not far away from Medina. He went from there to go to their graves, and then he offered the prayer. He did not pray in Medina. So who tells you that it is controversial? Well, tell him that thing's controversial, but we are really following the hadith and the haqq and the truth. If you have a proof, go and give it to us. And Najashi is a proof against you, not for you. And Najashi is a proof against you, because a Najashi, nobody had offered the prayer on him. Number two, you're not allowed to go and offer a prayer on a king for the Christian country. No way. Number three, it was live link up straight away. He died, Prophet ﷺ offered the prayer. That's why. So if we have the same scenario, no problem. Like say for example, a person whom we know that he died upon Islam, and nobody offered the prayer on him, and nobody can go to his grave, okay, then you offer the prayer in whatever place it is. Right. The 5 prayers, or the 5 takbirat, and by the way, the takbirat, the 5, you raise up the hands, and we see which are the first or the rest, we're going to see that in a minute, inshallah. The 5 takbirat also was mentioned. It says here, Zayd ibn Arqam, the companion, used to make the prayer on the Janaza 4 times, and he made 5 times. Somebody asked him, Prophet ﷺ, what is this? He used to do it? He said, yes, the Messenger of Allah used to do 5 takbirat. Is it loud? It's not loud. You make it loud. Okay. I thought my voice was loud. طيب. The 6th and the 7th takbirat we do have from the companions, athar. And all of these athar, they have the same strength as from the Prophet ﷺ. Because these companions, when they offered this Janaza prayer with 6 and 7 and 6 and 7 and 9 takbirat, they have offered it in front of senior companions. And those senior companions, no one had objected. So it becomes consensus. And the consensus of the scholars of the companions, all the companions, is to be infallible. Do you understand that? Just like the Prophet of Allah is infallible, the consensus of the companions is infallible, mistakeless. Who said that? Prophet himself. لا تجتمع أمتي على ضلالة. No way that my ummah will have an agreement, consensus upon something which is wrong. That means, just like the Prophet of Allah have infallibility, companions and their consensus, it has as well. Infallibility means mistakeless. Right. 9 takbirat, we do have that the Prophet ﷺ, he prayed upon Hamza. He prayed how many takbirat? 9. If we didn't have the 6 and the 7 from the companion, and we did have the 4 and the 5 from the Prophet of Allah, we have the 9, we could assume as well that the 6 and the 7 and the 8 is okay. You understand? So if we had no companions talking about the 6 and the 7, but we have the Prophet of Allah himself praying 4, 5 and 9, then we say it is permissible to say as well 6 and 7 and 8. So the Messenger of Allah, he prayed 9 upon Hamza. What does that tell you? So if you have somebody who is a senior person who died, you could really offer upon him a prayer with more takbirat than the rest of the people. Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, great companion, the lion of Allah, Asadullah, the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ, first uncle who embraced Islam, because all of his uncles died upon kufr, except for 2 uncles, this uncle and Al-Abbas. But Al-Abbas, he embraced Islam later on. He embraced Islam after the truce of Al-Hudaybiyah. Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib embraced Islam at the first era of Islam in Mecca. And Prophet of Allah so much loved him, because in his strength, his power, and his, Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib. Hamza, even the name makes you shake. SubhanAllah. When he was assassinated, and in a way which is not a way which is like facing the battle, nobody would dare to face Hamza. So this this Wahshi, companion, who was not companion before that, in the battle of Uhud, he had killed him from the back. He would not dare to confront him with his skill in his throwing the javelins, the spear. He killed him. Okay, as soon as he killed him, he left. All his battle, it was not really actually to fight. It's just to assassinate him in order to get freedom because he was a slave. And who set him? Another companion, that's Hind, the wife of Abu Sufyan. All of them are, at that time, kuffar. When they embrace Islam, they become companions. Allah forgave them. But still, even though that Wahshi became a companion, as soon as the Prophet ﷺ had regained Mecca and Wahshi wanted to come, he said to Wahshi, I don't want to see your face. Even he became a companion. Please make your face away from me. Why? Prophet doesn't want to have any hatred towards him. So every time he looks at him, he remembers what? His uncle. So that is why Wahshi, he said, I was after the you could say, the wiping off my sin of this. That is, I did my best to kill, just like I killed the best of the Muslims, I killed the worst of the Kufr. He had killed Musaylim al-Kadhab, the one who claimed to be a prophet. So, just like he had killed the best, had to kill the best of the Kufr. Just a subtle thing in himself, because he said, Prophet of Allah, he said, I don't want to see your face. Because you remind me of Hamza of Allah. Right. Now, coming to raising up their hands, please.
Abdullah ibn Abbas said,
Read the title, my dear. The title is more important.
the hands should be raised during the first takbir. Abdullah ibn Abbas said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam would raise his hands in the funeral prayer during the first takbir and then not repeat doing so.
Honey. Is this honey?
Yes.
No sugar?
No sugar.
Please, more honey.
Can I bring the whole flask?
Yes, please.
The sisters can clear properly.
Jazakumullahu khairan. Are you sure that this is
Yes,
no sugar?
No sugar.
If we take it to the lab, no sugar.
I won't do poison free one.
Okay. This is more sweeter than the sugar.
Yeah, the sisters say they come here. Bring it down, please.
They want to what? They want to see me.
No, they cannot hear. They cannot.
Are you sure?
No, they can. No, that they can. No, that's.
But I'm going to blast you guys. Alright. I think you need to have two systems or way of putting the speakers down in the men's hall and to make it loud for the sisters. Because I know that the sisters, they have kids. That's why. So, do you have a system by which you could really... No. It's very easy, by the way. Two amplifiers. Or, two amplifiers, because you've got the speakers. There's one of these systems where we have the output for the speakers as well controlled. Just like you have the inputs of the microphones controlled, you have as well output control. طيب, they can hear me now?
Yeah.
So the title was, it is permissible to raise up the hands in the first takbirah. Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said the Prophet ﷺ used to raise up his hands on the funeral, on the deceased, in the first takbirah, and he does not do that again. Then he put his right on his left, on the back of his left, just like we do it in the normal prayer. And the way that to pray is exactly the way that we pray normal prayer. Now, as for the rest of the takbirat, we do not have any proof to say that the Prophet of Allah had done the opposite, which is to make Rafa' al-Yadayn, raise up the hands in each takbirah. It's only the first takbirah. As for the hadith that has been mentioned from Abdullah ibn Umar, it is unauthentic. As for him doing it, if you think Abdullah ibn Umar doing it from the Prophet, then you could do it. But this is Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said they used to do the first takbirah, and he doesn't do anything raising up the hands for the rest of the takbirah. But if somebody beside you had raised up his hand, please don't tell him you are bid'ah. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he's adopting the other opinion. Maybe. So don't take a stand against somebody who is simply raising up his hand in the second and the third and the fourth takbirah. So if the masjid, they follow the haqq, and so many people of you follow the sunnah, that person, by the way, whether he likes it or not, he will adapt to your system. By himself, he will say, why am I the only one raising up hands? So he will just be shy to raise up his hands. He will do that just like the one on the left and the one on the right. So simply like this. Now, then he says, following title, straight away the following title, it's only 3 lines, 4 lines. Oh, you're reading from a mobile, that's why.
Yeah.
Somebody had to give the brother a book because he has to read from a book. Get a book, please. It's going to take a long time, but it's not right. You have to have a book. Yes. Following title?
Is it after the opening takbir?
Yes.
Okay. After the opening takbir, he would read Surah Al-Fatiha and another surah of the Quran.
So, some people, they are having the impression that it's only Surah Al-Fatiha. You could read the Fatiha and another surah. So, Abdullah ibn, he says that Talha ibn Abdullah ibn Auf said, I have prayed behind Abdullah ibn Abbas upon a Janaza. So he recited the Fatiha and a surah, and he had made it loud until we heard his recitation. So when I have finished, when we finished the prayer, I took his hand and I asked him. Why he took his hand? He doesn't want to ask him in front of everybody. On his own. So he said, I have made it loud in order to know it is sunnah. What is it is sunnah? Yeah, it is, what is it? This refers to what? The Fatiha. Do you understand me? He made it because he did the Fatiha and a surah. So he made it because some of the people, they don't think that the Fatiha exists in the prayer of the Janaza. But he did not make it loud when he said, to know it refers to make it loud. It refers to what? The Fatiha and the Surah. And more important, the Fatiha. Because some of the people, they don't even recite the Fatiha on the Janazah. So he recited the Fatiha and the Surah, not to tell the people recitation with loud recitation is the Sunnah. And our brothers from Ahl al-Hadith, I don't know if you've seen that or not, they offer the prayer of the Janazah with loud recitation. So if you go to Ahl al-Hadith Masjid, and you have a Janazah, I don't know if you've seen that or not, they will offer the prayer with loud recitation. Who had experienced that before? Nobody? Subhanallah. Okay. If you went, for example, to Reading Masjid before when the Imam was there, before I had told him what is the Sunnah, he was making it loud. He was reciting just like he recites Maghrib prayer. So, we say to him that this is not for the sake of saying that loud recitation is a sunnah, it's actually he made it loud in order the people to know the Fatiha to recite and the surah as well. So he would recite in a silent mode, just like the Dhuhr and the Asr, and the last rak'ah of the Maghrib, and the last two rak'ah of the Isha, silent mode. That's the sunnah. Abu Umama ibn Sahli said the sunnah. When he said the sunnah, it means like the Prophet said it. The sunnah in Salaatul Janaza, that is to pray the first takbirah with the Quran mukhafatatan, silently. Then he would pray, make the three takbirahs, and then he makes the three, and then he makes the taslim, the salutation at the end of it. Then he would make the second takbirah. The second takbirah, we said, without raising up the hands, according to what we believe is correct. After that, he would make the salah upon the Prophet, which we call it الصلاة الإبراهيمية. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. That's the Salah Ibrahimiyya with the versions that you have learned it in the normal Salah. Then he would make the rest of the takbirat, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever takbirah. After this first one, which is the Fatiha and the Surah, and the second one, which is the Salah Ibrahimiyya, the rest of the takbirat are to be what? Dua for the deceased. If the deceased is a child, your dua is supposed to be to whom? To the parents, not to the child. The child is in Jannah. So you can't say, oh Lord, grant him Jannah. He's in Jannah. Child is in Jannah. Because this is with consensus. All the children, the Muslims, are to be in Jannah. The children of the kuffar, there's a difference among the scholars, but correct opinion, they are as well in Jannah. So what do you ask for the children in the prayer? You ask for their parents. Allahumma ja'alhu faradan liwalidayh. Oh Lord, make him to be the person who would precede them to open the gate for them to paradise. The most important thing in your dua is to make ikhlas. What is ikhlas? Sincerity. I could imagine sincerity being in the heart of a brother when he makes a dua onto a relative of his who died. I know that. I know that sincerity comes to the brothers who pray on a Janaza, for example, once in the blue moon, like here. I remember 2 years or a year. I don't know the last time we prayed a Janaza here. When? Last year. I could imagine your ikhlas, but I could imagine your ikhlas will not be there when you pray in Janaza every single prayer or every single day. That's where? In the haram. Ikhlas is not there. Because the people got used to it. Janaza after Janaza. So if you're not going to be ikhlas, you don't pray the Janaza. What be ikhlas? So regardless of that person, you know him, you don't know him, make ikhlas. He's in need of your dua. So imagine that he's your father or your mother who died, because you're the father or the mother of somebody else, or the brother or the sister of somebody else, or the son or the daughter of somebody else. He's a human being. So if it is the case, it could be my son, it could be my father, it could be my mother. Let me be sincere. That sincerity of yours will gain two things. Number one, the benefit for that person. Number two, the benefit for yourself. Because you're fulfilling the Prophet ﷺ's command. فَأَخْلِصُوا لَهُ الدُّعَاء. And the best dua that you could do is the dua of the Prophet of Allah. You cannot make better dua than the Messenger of Allah. Regardless of how many words you're going to put together, the dua of the Prophet of Allah is small but condensed in its meaning. So the best of the dua, you say, Allahumma ighfir lahu warhamhu wa'afihi wa'fu anhu wa akrim nuzulahu wa wasi' mudkhalahu wa naqqihi min al-khataya kama yanqqa ath-thawb al-abyad min ad-danas wa lighsilhu min al-khataya bil-ma'i wath-thalji wal-mar. Allahumma abdilhu zawjan khayran min zawjihi wa daran khayran min darihi wa ahlan khayran min ahlihi wa qihi 'adhab al-qabr wa qihi 'adhab al-jannah. Allahumma ighfir lahu. Translate it.
O Allah, forgive him, have mercy on him, pardon him, and excuse him. Give him an honourable reception, make his grave wide, wash him with water, snow and ice, cleanse him of his sin as a white garment is cleansed of filth, exchange for him an abode that is better than his present abode, and his family for a better family, and his spouse for a better spouse. Enter him into paradise, protect him from the punishment of the grave and the punishment of the hellfire. Of added, I wished that I had been that deceased person.
This person was a companion called Auf ibn Malik. When he heard the Prophet ﷺ making this dua because he's next to him, he said, I wish that was that person who's dead. Because this dua is from the Prophet of Allah. Look at that. Forgive him, have mercy upon him, excuse him, pardon him, and give him a noble rank, and give him a white spacious grave, and wash his sins wash him with the water and the snow and the hail, and take the sins away from him, just like you purify the white garment from the dirt, and make it by giving him a better abode than his abode, a better family than his family, better spouse than his spouse, make him go into paradise, and save him from the punishment of the grave, and save him from the punishment of the fire. What more do you want? He said, I wish I was that. The one who died. And Auf ibn Malik, by the way, he's got a sense of humor. That's why he said, I wish I was that. Auf ibn Malik has got a sense of humor. He just remembered me now, something I link it now to Auf ibn Malik, radiallahu anhu. One day, which was in the Truce of Al-Hudaybiyah, he enters upon the Prophet ﷺ in his tent, because they were camping. So he had to have a permission to come in, even though there's no door, but the tent is a tent, private. Messenger of Allah, Salaamu alaykum, wa alaykum salam. Shall I come in? He said, come in. He said, all of me or part of me? He said, all of you. Sense of humor. Come, all of you. So, Auf ibn Malik with no sense of humor. I wish I was that person who was dead. Now, after that he says that a dua, even making dua between the last takbirah and the salutation is permissible. In contrast to the salah that you prayed in the haram, there is no place for dua in between the last takbirah and the salutation. So takbirah and salutation. But here is permissibility for the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abi Awfa, and he said, I have witnessed the Prophet ﷺ making the Janaza when he made takbirat 4 times, and then he stood for dua He said, should you think I'm going to make 5th takbirah? He said, no, Messenger of Allah. He said, no, he said, himself, he was praying. He said, no, for very the Prophet of Allah did make 4th takbirah. That means he made the dua after the 4th, not to wait for another takbirah, but he made the salutation. Right, the salutation is to be just like the salutation of the normal prayer. That means 2 salutation or 1. But the 1 salutation is the salutation that we have learned in the prayer. So, can anybody tell me, what do we say if we made 1 salutation on one side in Salaatul Janaza? What do we say? Salaamu Alaikum. Whereas we find in the Haram, they will say, Salaamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullah. But actually the 4 taslimat that we had authenticity about their narrations is number 1, is Salaamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh on the right, Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullah on the left. On the right, Salaamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullah. On the left, the same thing, Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullah. Third one, Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullah on the right, Assalamu Alaikum on the left. Then, one salutation is the last 4th version of the salutation, is slightly turning to the right, and he's saying, Assalamu Alaikum. Right, after this, alhamdulillah, we go to the فضل الصلاة على الجنازة واتباعها. Now,
It is not allowed to perform the funeral
and by the way, it's not allowed, yes?
It is not allowed to perform the funeral prayer during the prohibited times of prayer except due to necessity.
What are the prohibited times of the prayer? Hadith Uqba ibn Amir, he says, go on, 3 hours.
Uqba ibn Amr radiallahu anhu said, there are 3 times of the day concerning which the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam prohibited us from praying or from burying our dead. When the sun rises, first it goes until it rises above the horizon. During high noon until...
That's about 15 minutes. About 15 minutes, yeah? So, after the sun had risen, you wait when the sun until it's risen properly. So, after the rising, when it rises, 15 minutes wait, and then you'll be okay. Now,
during high noon until the sun goes beyond the zenith.
We call it the meridian or the zenith. So when the sun is in the middle or closest to the earth, to that spot where you are, and is about to change direction, it's about another 10 or to 15 minutes as well again. Third time,
when the sun is leaning towards sunset until it sets.
So the sun is turning to red now, reddish, and then it goes down. That has another 15 to 10 minutes as well. Then you're not allowed to pray nor to bury the deceased. Now, to pray any prayer, not just the prayer of the Janaza, any prayer. Okay? Any prayer. Now,
the virtue of performing the funeral prayer and following the funeral bier. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, whoever prays for the deceased but does follow the funeral bier will get 1 qirat of reward, and the one who follows it will receive 2 qirat. It was said, and what is the qirat amount? He replied, the smaller of the 2 of them is like Mount Uhud.
Right. So great reward for offering the prayer on the Janaza. He who follows the prayer from the moment it was, washed and shrouded until the moment it was, in the house of the deceased, and from the house of the deceased to the prayer, from the moment it was washed, shrouded from the house until the masjid. That's, when you pray on it, that's 1 qirat. And if you go ahead all the way to bury it, then you have 2 qirat. What is the qirat, Messenger of Allah? He said the qirat, the minimum, the smallest size of that qirat is like the mountain of Uhud from the reward. Now this hadith was mentioned by Abu Hurairah. And the one who was listening, Abdullah ibn Umar. And actually somebody told him that Abu Hurairah is saying this. He was not sure. He sent somebody to make sure that Abu Hurairah is actually memorizing what he had memorized from the Prophet. So he sent somebody to Aisha to confirm. So Aisha, she confirmed what Abu Hurairah had said. So when Abu Hurairah had heard that Abdullah ibn Umar is checking up on him, he came to Abdullah ibn Umar. He took his hand with him and he said, come with me to Aisha. Again, Aisha, I beseech you, Allah. Did you hear the Prophet ﷺ said so and so and so? She said, yes. And Aisha is speaking behind a curtain, screen. yes, testify. He said, verily, I was the most memorizing person amongst you, because I had no land to look after. He was a really poor person. So I had no look, and every time Prophet of Allah goes, I go with him. Maybe you had plans to go, things to go. I didn't have anything. So Abu Hurairah said, nothing had preoccupied me from the Prophet of Allah. Allah, remember, he said two words. First one, he said, Wallahi, you were the most memorizing person amongst us. He testified for Abu Hurairah, the best in preserving the information. Number two, he said, لَقَدْ فَرَّطْنَا فِي قَرَارِيطَ كَثِيرًا. We have lost a lot of qararit. I mean, a lot of mountains of Uhud from the rewards. Allah didn't know that you're going to get 2 qira if you witness the Janaza from the place where it died until it's buried. 2 qirat. And you'll have 1 qirat if you have witnessed it where it died until it's being prayed upon. Do you have a qirat where the people normally pray upon it and then bury it? Do you understand now the issue? 2 qirats is from where it's being taken from the house until it's being prayed upon. That's 1 qirat. 2 qirat until you bury it. You pray upon it. 1 qirat is from the place where it is died and shrouded until it's been washed. So it's been prayed. If you pray it, that's 1 qirat. But is there any qirat like these people, what you normally have is they pray upon the, you heard about the Janaza, they come to pray upon it and then they follow it to bury it. No guarantee. You'll have a reward. But the qirat is linked like this way. 2 qirat from distance A to C. From A to B, but not from B to C. It's no narration from B to C. Do you understand that? A to C is from the place where it died until you bury it. A to C. From B to A to B, that means from the place where it died until you prayed upon it. But from the prayer place to the burial place from B to C, there is no proof for that. And hopefully, inshallah, that will be allowed. That's what the people, they always go to pray upon it and then they follow it to bury it. Fine. Now he says here that this virtue and the excellence of following the funeral is only for the men, not the women. Prophet of Allah, he had actually told off the women to follow. Did not make it haram, but it's like it is very disliked. But if the woman wanted to follow because it's her husband or her father or somebody's close, then she should follow in the right manner. Not to mix up with the men, not to beautify herself, and not to hang out, just, mix it up. There's no problem about that. So she's not going shoving, between the men and she wants to see the grave and see where his husband buried. That's not right. It's only for men there. No women to be there. It's a place for us to remember the dead, not to have an opportunity to go and, and eye a woman there. Oh, there's a sister there, mashallah. Let me be there and look at it. We don't want to have that. So we want to the grave, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, أَلْهَاكُمُ التَّكَاثُرُ حَتَّى زُرْتُمُ الْمَقَابِرَ. When you visit the grave, you're scared. But if it comes now women there, you come to the grave, reminds you of dunya and women, it's not right. That's why the woman should not be there. But very rare cases that if this is really dear to her, she wants to come to the car, and stay in the car and look from away, and this is what happened, not to mix up with the men. We say that with that limitation, no problem. But it's better for her not to follow the Janaza. It is not allowed for the Janaza to be followed by anything that would oppose the Sharia. At the time of the Prophet he said, you should not follow the Janaza with sawt, shouting, screaming, even tasbih, la ilaha illallah, the kalima, kalima. When the Janaza been taken, they say kalima, and he's going to say la ilaha illallah, kalima. I said, brother, no kalima, no, not a single word. Quiet. This is a mouthful, quiet, can't say anything. Wala nar, at that time, they used to follow the funeral with what? With fire. And I'm telling you, until these days, we have funerals for the Christians where they follow with what? Incense burning, fire. All of it follow the trend. You come from a Christian background, you know that? No?
I've seen it.
You've seen it. So, incense and fire, we're not there. We have to be quiet. Not a single word. Not a single word. Look at the people when they bury in the haram, go fast as well. And that's the sunnah which we're going to be considered as well. He said, we don't want to, as well, to start imitating the disbelievers, like the Christians. They start chanting, you know, they make it, we should not be, a Muslim, they're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing. So we're following them. Some of them even, they hire cars, like in our country, where they have a loudspeaker on the top, like a little van. And that loudspeaker has got Quranic recitation. Come on, they don't do it in Turkey or what?
In Albania,
They don't do that in Albania? We are much more advanced in bid'ah than you are, guys. You're backward in bid'ah. So we have this allocated sort of van for the deceased, and you have at the top, big massive speaker, you know, like one of these loudspeakers, what do you call it?
Mic.
Not the mic. Usually when they find them on the minarets.
Yeah.
They call it a mic. You call it mic?
Yeah, in my country they call it mic.
But there's something else. Hooters. That's the word. Hooters. Very powerful.
Yeah.
And they put Abdul Basit and Abdul Samad. Yeah, they said, yeah, Quran. That's not right. All of it's not right. Same thing as imitation. The worst scenario is that when they do it with music, especially the ones who are leaders. So they give them the funeral procession, just like the queen when she dies, or the king when he dies in the non-Muslim country. So they bring the flowers, they bring the tank, and they bring a cannon, and they give 21 bullets. They've done that on our kings. They were buried in this non-Islamic environment. Yes?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The best thing that you could look at how, until now, alhamdulillah, inshallah, we'll say the same. The kings of Saudi Arabia, how they've been buried. The king of most of the Gulf countries, how they've been buried. The king of Bahrain, Sheikh Isa, when he died, the short guy, he died just Dhuhr. He was buried Hasr. Straight away. Those kings who want to come to the funeral, they didn't have time. But other countries, they will wait and freeze him in the freezer for days until these guys used to come to show off. It's all right for the showing off, not for paying respect. Showing off. So they put the guy in the freezer. Even he's dead. The Prophet said, freezing the bones, breaking the bones of a believer when he's dead is like breaking him when he's what? He's going to let you to break his bones, isn't it? He'll break your bone before you break his bones. But because he's dead, he's got nobody to defend him. You break his bone, you freeze his bone, you put him in the freezer. It's not like that. For verily the Prophet ﷺ, he said, أسرعوا بالجنازة. Hasten the process of the burial. فإن تكن صالحة, if it was good, فخير تقدمونها عليه. That means you are forwarding this janazah to the good which is waiting for it. Why you want to delay this person from his Jannah, from his paradise? It's good. And if it's not good, an evil corpse, you better as well hurry to put it away from shoulder. You don't want to be standing in your shoulder for a long time. You don't want to be staying in the fridge for a long time. You don't want to be staying in the house for a long time. Get rid of it. So whether it's bad or good, you hurry what? With the burial process. And it is permissible for the person to walk in front and at the back and on the right and on the left of the janazah as long as he's close by. Except for the person who is riding. No way he could go in the front. He has to go in the back. So this is another sunnah which is being taken away from lots of people. If, for example, we're going to be burying the janazah most likely by a car in this country. So if you are riding, and you're going to be riding, you're not going to be walking behind the car, you're going to be riding, then you have to ride close to the janazah. So stick to the what? Don't take a shortcut. Most people are always shortcut. Let me explain. Number two, you can't be in front of that janazah. You have to be what? Behind it. So that the Shia means it's not going to be rushing. Who's going to be first at the graveyard? No. You are with the funeral, not before the funeral. So if you are riding, you have to be behind. If you're walking, you're allowed to go in front, but always close by. What does he say when he makes the person enters the grave? This is now when he enters the graveyard or passes by it. This is the last thing. Read the title, please.
It is obligatory for to move quickly with the funeral.
No. I've finished that, all of that. I said, what does he say when he enters the graveyard?
Aisha radiallahu
Say the
anha,
title, please.
what is to be said when entering or passing by the grave sites? Aisha radiallahu anha said, I said, what should I say to them? O Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said,
No, he didn't say Salaatul Sallam. You put in Salaatul Sallam. Don't put Salaatul Sallam. There is no Salaatul Sallam.
O Messenger of Allah, he said, قولي السلام على الأهل ديار من المؤمنات والمسلمين ويرحم الله
They said, mistakenly translate.
Okay.
Say, Assalamu ala ahl al-diyar, Salamu ala ahl al-diyar, إن المؤمنين والمسلمين ويرحم الله المستقدمين منا والمستأخرين وإنا إن شاء الله بكم لاحقون. Or, Salamu alaykum ahl al-diyar من المؤمنين والمسلمين وإنا إن شاء الله بكم لاحقون. نسأل الله لنا ولكم العافية. Translate in which of the two, please?
Say peace be upon the inhabitants of these places from the believers and the Muslims. May Allah have mercy on those who preceded us and those who would come after. Allah willing, we should be joining you. Peace be upon you, O inhabitants of the graves.
Second one.
From believers and Muslims, we, Allah willing, shall be joining you.
We, Allah willing?
Shall be joining you.
No, we, Allah willing is not right. We, Allah willing.
Okay. Allah willing.
If Allah willing. We, and we, if Allah willing, will be.
We, if Allah willing,
Yes.
shall be joining you. I ask Allah for us and for you well-being.
Jazakallah khair. Now we're coming to the defen and they're going to be adjourned to the following class. Defen means the burial. And that would be the last class in the, inshallah, the Janaza. And I will try to summarize as much as I can because the Janaza will be having one class after this. Any questions regarding what we have heard? We talked about now the two things, the prayer and also taking him to the graveyard. Take him to the burial. So if any please any questions regarding what we have heard or something to do with the Janaza, that would have priority. Otherwise, anything to do with the deen. Now, Fadal.
A lot of people, they just pray sometimes, just salah.
Can I just ask for the microphone to be given to the person who's going to ask the question in order for me to be just answering, not to repeat the question. It's a headache. Fadal.
Sometimes people, they just pray the salah without coming from the house, following it from the house to the masjid. The call is made for the iqamah and then they pray the salah and that's it. Is there anything wrong?
Any person who offers the janazah on the person who's dead, he will have a reward. But the qiraat is specified to the thing that we have mentioned before. So when you pray upon a person, the janazah, you have fulfilled your duty because it's a collective obligation. Meaning, if there is nobody to pray upon him, you'll be sinned and everybody will be sinned. But if one or two people prayed upon the janazah, then everybody will be exempted from the sin. So when you pray on the person, it's two benefits. You benefit the person who is dead, and you benefit yourself by praying the janazah. Now,
you mentioned that women should not follow the funeral procession. Are they allowed to visit, say if somebody like a child passed away, are they allowed to visit after?
okay, visiting the graveyard, is it allowed for sisters or not? This is going to become, inshallah, when we talk about the burial. We'll talk about it, but in general, yes, it is allowed, in contrast to the opinion of the Hanbali madhab, where they do not allow women to visit the graveyard. So that is why you find that Baqi al-Gharqad is not allowed for women to visit it. They could see it from outside, but they can't enter inside the graveyard. But the correct opinion that just like the women that are in need, that we are in need of the advice, they are in need of the advice. The same thing. Prophet Allah said, إِنَّمَا النِّسَاءُ شَقَائِقُ الرِّجَالِ. Many women are the sisters in terms of rule-wise to the men. Whatever is implemented on the men is implemented on the women. إِنَّمَا النِّسَاءُ شَقَائِقُ الرِّجَالِ. So the women are the same in terms of the prayer. So when it comes to the prayer, same thing. We don't tell them, for example, to do extra bits in the prayer. We don't tell them, for example, to go on, when they make the sujood, to really tighten their arms to their side in order to protect the seeing of their breast. It's not right. Same thing as the men, because they're not allowed to have men anyway behind them. So the women are like the men, unless there is a specific thing mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ. Same thing with the graveyard. Aisha visited the graveyard. As I said, we're going to talk about it thoroughly. So the correct answer, and this quick answer for that, yes, they are allowed to visit, but not as frequently as the men. We don't want a sister to keep coming out of the house. Her husband is asking, her father is asking. Where are you going? Graveyard. So it becomes a picnic now. So it is occasionally now.
So for example, say if someone dies in like a Muslim dies in a natural disaster, so you said you're allowed to pray Janaza upon them if they're not properly buried. So say if they die in a natural disaster or something, like a plane crash or something, would you still be allowed, or would that count as like
The people who died in a remote area, means in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay? And there was nobody to offer the janazah on them, and there was no way to go to them, then you offer the janazah wherever you are. Even if they are being buried in Morocco, you are in China, east extreme and west extreme, no problem. But if you knew that some people had offered the prayer on them, then you cannot offer the prayer except if you go to their location where they're being buried. Alright? So if some people had offered the prayer, because it's a collective obligation. Once group of people prayed upon them, there will be no sins upon the rest of the people. If you want to pray on them, you have to come to the grave. So lots of people, like myself, I had my father die, and he was buried 4 days before I arrived. So I went to the graveyard, and I offered a prayer, me and my brother, onto the graveyard. So I went to the grave, I put it